All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the How's Business podcast. We're starting to do a little bit of a theme where you guys are meeting the guests for the first time, just like myself. Today is no different. Today we're recording out of one of the studios, the Martial Arts Spirit Studios, and we are joined by someone very, very big in the photography, videography, and branding space, especially for the fitness industry. He's absolutely killing it. If you check out his Instagram during the podcast, you'll see what I mean. His personal brand is taking off, and so is his business brand. So the importance of storytelling, the importance of personal brand is not new to him. We are welcoming Dihann onto the podcast. Dihann, how are you, bro?
Happy to be here, bro. I'm good. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing really good. First questions first, Bress. How's business?
Business is good. It's definitely hard. It's harder than I thought, especially coming off of uni without any business or even corporate experience. It's better than expected. I never expected myself to be in the position I am now, especially a year out from doing it.
Take me back. What did you study at uni?
So last year I finished my last year I finished my uni degree. So I did design and architecture. So there was a lot of drawings and modeling and making things. So that's what I did for 3 years. So finished my bachelor's degree, graduated in May, and in Feb this year, when it was supposed to be like enrollment time, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to enroll this year. I'm going to go all in with my business. And that's basically the end of my architecture journey. So
Yeah, amazing.
yeah.
Can you explain to the viewers what is your business and how does it work?
So Dr. Studios is basically a media creative studio. So we're based in Sydney. We're a content first media agency. We work with fitness brands, performance brands, gyms and athletes. And we're basically creating for brands that move. And what that means is for those who are ambitious, for those who are willing to make the brand move through content. And in the surface level, it's basically within the fitness space, whoever's moving. And we love motion, we love video, and that's what we provide to our clients.
Yeah, amazing. Have you always been passionate about photography, videography, content?
I would say I'm passionate about creating things. So just like any other filler, I played music before, and I used to make YouTube videos of me singing.
Nice.
Grant Perez was one of my inspirations. And then when I started uni, the journey of starting uni was new, and I always loved the thought of documenting things. So that's where I first picked up a camera, especially like using my iPhone a lot. And that's when I started just vlogging my daily experience. So I pressed it a lot more then, and I actually found a bit of traction, but didn't really quite find it. And then second year of uni, I thought to myself, like, I gotta find a way to actually make this happen. So it was around April of 2023, and that's where I was like, you know what, I gotta systemize these things. I gotta make it mathematical. How can I operationalize my content creation into the way that like it fits my daily routine of me going to uni? So there was this spot in the architecture building that I knew no one was going to move it, no one was going to touch it, and I knew that I needed to find a place where people can associate me with it and what my brand is. And I love concrete, and the whole building, the architecture building, is concrete. So I started every single day filming it there. So just placing my iPhone, me going into the architecture building, and that's basically where my personal brand kind of started. And from that on, it actually attracted a lot of the people within my community. And then it attracted a bit of national small brands around Sydney. And I ended up getting some like brand deals and stuff. Eventually later that year, I did some stuff with Adobe. And even I'm still partnered with Logitech even to this day, which is crazy. They've been following my journey since I was in uni. So I got a bit of that like sense of recognition from these brands. And then by the end of 2023, I was like, you know what, this is actually like, I love creating more than me doing the work, the architecture work. I love the editing. I love piecing music and visuals together. And so I got a camera at the end of that year, and my girlfriend actually bought me my first ever lens. So she made that investment since the beginning.
Shout out.
And so from then on, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create content for architecture firms. It'll make sense, both worlds together. But I didn't expect to have that sense of big barrier in between me and like the level of the competitors that I will be doing. And they have 15 to 20 years of experience. I have none. And I came in and I jumped in, reaching out to these architecture firms, and it just didn't work out for me. But still had that camera. And start of that year, I met a friend, and he does content for fitness, in the fitness space. He does content for gyms and stuff. So I got inspired. And from then on, I picked up a camera and actually started reaching out to these businesses. I got probably like one yes or one reply out of like 100. And that's when I was like, you know what, this is insane. You guys are crazy. You're missing out. But they don't get it. It's because I didn't have anything to show them. But I went through so many hoops to get that one reply. And
Can you tell me a little
Yeah.
bit more? There are people in that stage right now. What did you do? Like, were you reaching out via email? Were you messaging on Instagram? What was that process like?
So I used to listen to Alex Hormozi every single day, podcast, and that volume, like 100 a day, philosophy of his kind of struck to me. So I used to do DMs a lot. I leveraged my personal brand. So within that April that I told you, I gained 20,000 followers in less than 2 months.
Yeah, wow.
And that was insane for me. And basically, I use my personal brand to leverage these other businesses so that once they see that number, it might entice them.
Yeah.
So I used to do a lot of DMs. I didn't know how to write emails, and basically just use that.
And your personal brand was from the architecture stuff you did back at uni?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, cool.
And there's actually another way that I tried. There's actually another business before this. I would love to speak about it.
Tell me about your
Yeah,
first
so-
business venture. How old were you and what was it?
So it was basically a coaching business. So I helped over 60 students, 60 different people all around the globe. So they're mostly architecture and design students. There's one in London, one in the US. There's actually 3 in like a small town in the UK, which is crazy to me.
Nice.
And then a lot of them were here in Australia. And I basically inspired these people to create content, which is amazing. But I was doing business without knowing anything about business. I was sending invoices. I was charging them $50 for an hour, which took me about like 3 hours of my time to even get started and prep before the call. And then the call itself took over 2 hours. And I was basically slaving myself away, not knowing what my real value was.
Earning your stripes.
Yes, exactly. And not many people know about it. I haven't really like spoken about it, but basically with that business, I got introduced to like so many other guys that are in the entrepreneurial space here in Sydney. So I started helping them with their content. How do they make content in the daily life as a business owner? So that's when I started seeing my value a bit more, but I just didn't catch up onto it. I didn't know how to run it properly. So the longevity game was just not it for me.
But the skills you learned.
The skills that I
Yeah.
learned were rejection, like how to accept rejection, how to talk to people, how to coach them, how can I present in a way that makes sense to people, that's digestible. So I love making presentations. So having those skills is really important to me.
So that first business, you learned how to deal with customers. You learned you already know the importance of content itself. So you're sort of solving their problems by teaching them how to make content.
Definitely.
So tell me about the day where you switched from helping these people to helping local people and charging for it, knowing your worth about content itself.
Definitely. So as I said, like there was a friend that made content, and he told me that he was charging $1,500 for like 4 videos. At that point for me, I'm like, you're fucked up. You're crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That was crazy to me.
And that's cheap.
That is very cheap. That is actually so cheap. But then I was like, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it too. I mean, I'm always using my personal brand as some sort of a leverage, but I didn't realize how it was a different game to TC these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you sort of change from focusing on your personal brand, focusing on other people's personal brand, and you wanted to reach out to brands, how did you land on fitness and motion and athletes?
Yeah. So I always love the thought of having something that's moving and having something cinematic. I love movies. I love Interstellar. That's one of my favorite movies.
Great movie.
And I love music, and mixing all those together, I just thought that fitness, since it's always moving, since everyone's like ambitious, since no one's stopping in their movement, it's not boring, you know, like with food, they're just sitting there.
Simple.
Yeah, very simple. But with athletes, you can talk to them. You can actually show their story. What kind of journey did they go through to be in this stage today? Yeah.
So a lot of our listeners are either business owners or potential business owners or people that are in similar spaces or thinking about starting a business. You run a creative agency, right? How does a creative agency make its money, basically?
So a creative agency basically either consults, strategizes, and produces content.
Can you go through all those for me?
Of course. So those three main pillars, basically, it's kind of the stages of how you just do a normal sale. So first you do some sort of consulting, assess on what they're lacking at. So a brand comes to me, say, hey, we need this type of content, but I have to strip back to them, see what the first principles are, and see actually what's not working. So either it means like, oh, have you guys done ads before? Because if their problem is we're not making enough sales or leads or any of some sort, my content can't directly give them money.
Isn't going to change that.
Exactly. And so that's number one. And number two is the strategy part. So how can we actually make this content that we're going to produce work for you? So how does it work in terms of your current strategy now? How are we going to fit that in with the new strategy that we're bringing in?
Yeah.
Because for some people, their audiences, their community, something that we put out, something so high quality, whatever it is, it might intimidate those people. Whereas maybe they're making content already that's a bit warm, a bit more organic, a bit more community focused. What if we should keep that? What's working? And so we introduce things that might work, and we keep things that might also still keep working. And then the production part, which is my favorite part, that's when we come in and actually make the content for you. So we create the videos, we create the hooks and the lines and the scripts that you guys do. We make the photos that you can use for promotional use, for marketing use, or for socials. And it depends on what your main target is. Is it awareness? Is it authority? Is it authenticity? All these different things, we bring it in through production. So we do a shoot together, even if it's a half day or a full shoot day type thing, and then we give you some edits and deliverables. And from that point on, either we go back again to the strategy part and we consult you on what we should do, or we just hand it over to you if you have some sort of marketing person.
Yeah, amazing. To get into the nitty gritty of that,
Yep.
What were the three? Awareness, authority,
Yep.
And what was the last one?
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yep.
Why would a business choose any of those over the others?
So I call those like my main three core pillars. I just had a meeting about this actually yesterday. Basically, those three pillars are the most important things you can do for your business. So awareness, that's your reels, that's your eye-catching, your scroll-stopping content. And you need that so that if you look at it in a funnel, you need to bring someone in your top of funnel. And basically the authority is you want to showcase that you're the leaders in the space. So that's actually what Datu means. So Datu means the leaders, the chiefs. And the authenticity part, you want to showcase that there's humanity within your business. So you're not just selling all the time. There's no fun. If there's no fun in your business, why would someone go do business with you? And I've heard this in one of those clients that I had, and they said like, we're not going to work with you if we know we can't have a beer with you one day. And basically, you want to showcase all those three, because if you look at it in a funnel perspective, it's basically bringing someone down and closer to you to make that sale. That's from a business perspective. From a content perspective, it's basically hitting those different aspects of your life, different aspects of what makes who you are to make someone trust you. And that's from a personal brand perspective as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a business owner, let's say you hire a media agency to help with everything. Do you think that if it's a service-based business, having a personal brand is essential to help with it? Or do you think that a service-based business can create its own brand without a face of the business? Instead, it has like faces.
It's a good question. I think it doesn't need a personal brand to thrive, but it definitely would thrive more if there's a face within the brand. Like Duolingo is the perfect experience.
Yeah,
Like the perfect example.
I love Duolingo.
Duolingo is a perfect example. If there's no mascot, they wouldn't have millions and millions of views. There's no one to associate it with. And how I see it, you need places and faces for a brand to associate you with. So if you're a founder-led business, let's just say like with going back to maybe, I don't know, me and what my story is, it might be important that I should keep continuing doing my personal brand.
Yeah.
Because that's what it means. Like Datu is very close to my heart. But if I created a media company that's called, I don't know, like photo media,
Yeah.
where it just made it up on the spot, maybe we don't need a personal brand. I wouldn't say like for service-based business, you don't need a personal brand, but I would say it would help so much more if you use your personal brand and you use that channel to work both together so that people can know more and be more aware about who you are.
How long have you been in business now? Because you're fresh out of uni.
Full-time, 8 months.
8 months. How are you going? How are you finding running your own business?
Yeah. It's hard to feel fulfilled, especially if you feel like your checklist is always running and it's always not getting ticked off.
Yeah.
It's hard to prioritize it's hard to say to yourself whether did I actually do something to move the needle in my business.
Yeah.
That's what's hard about it. And the other hard part about it is that there's always some sort of friction in my life where people might not think this is the right fit for me. Like my parents.
Yep.
Took them a bit of time to actually understand like what's happening and what I'm doing. But there's also some sort of me like, oh, what the hell am I doing? I should just be working right now, getting experience. Like I see these big media companies looking for a videographer to hire. Maybe I should just go with them.
Yeah.
But then some part of me feels like, no, you got to keep continuing what you're doing right now.
It will get hard for you. I've been in business since I was 16.
Yeah.
The hardest thing for you will be the people around you.
Yeah.
They don't understand until they see the finished product.
Exactly.
Like where we are right now. When I was 16, I was telling people I'm gonna have multiple martial arts centers. In their head, they're thinking community centers, oh yeah, just a hobby. But now you look 15 years later, physical locations, hundreds of students. It's only when they see that finished product that they actually understand what you're saying. So you have to remember as well, and viewers as well, like if you have parents, fellow parents especially, they're a product of their generation. So 90s, 2000s, content creation is not a thing, Facebook's not a thing, Instagram's not a thing. So making money in these avenues is like talking to an alien to them. They don't understand what's going on. It's good that they're trying to understand, but the important thing is when people try to understand, know that that's their limit. And if they don't understand, that's okay. Because back in the day, when horses became cars, people didn't understand that either.
Yeah.
We're at an age where things are just changing. And I think it's smart that you're doing it early. A lot of people start a business later. It's harder because everything's tied up to your job.
Yeah.
Your mortgage, your family, things like that. I always recommend if the younger you are, the easier it is to take the risk, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I was writing up this application thing for like a TED talk, and it's basically my philosophy is just do it fast, fail faster, and then learn along the way.
Learn along the way. The next question I wanted to ask you was, you're running this creative agency, 8 months out of uni.
Yeah.
You're also running your personal brand
Yeah.
at the same time. How do you go about juggling both?
No idea.
Yeah. Have you got any advice? Have you got any advice for someone who first of all, what's the importance of a personal brand to you?
It's important because it builds authority. Personally, it's important because you're the big, like I've just known this ever since, like the biggest asset is you. And if you're the founder and if you can move the needle, if you're fast, if you're ambitious, everyone's going to see that.
How did you build your personal brand? What were the things that really pushed you forward? Because many are trying, but they're lacking that authenticity. How did you find your authenticity and how did you communicate that to the camera?
Awesome. There's two different ways to do that. It's one way is if you're experienced, if you're not 21 years old, if you're 40 years old, you've got 15 years of experience of something, all you have to do is just talk about it. Talk about it in a way where you're talking to your old self, or you're talking to your son, and you're basically telling them a story. That's one way. So those are for the people who have experience. And for the people who doesn't have experience, all you have to do is build in public. And what I mean by that is not necessarily like showing how you didn't like they wake up in the morning or you keep sleeping in and you're losing all these clients. You can show a bit of that. But what you want to show is basically show in your own style what the thoughts and your feelings are in a specific situation. So that's the second. But there's actually a third, and this is my way of doing it. It's basically, I love aesthetic, and I just make my life look aesthetic as if I'm the one, like as if a camera crew is like going around and showing my life. That's basically my personal brand and why it's important.
Do you have any advice for someone who is running a business? They're running it, it's busy, things like that. Do you have any camera techniques or camera sort of recommendations on how to record what's going on in their life without hiring a videographer?
You need to find a space that you're comfortable with, and you always have to shoot it there. That's the first bit. For me, right now, it's the library space in my office, but before it was the architecture building. And because I'm always there. Just think of either it's your office or a place in your house that looks nice, that you know that there's a certain point in time where you can smash out 8 hours or even 2 hours worth of filming, where you can talk as long as quiet it is in there and just speak about yourself. And that's basically how you can get started. Secondly is batch filming. Batch filming is important, especially if you're busy, just because if you speak about 5 different pieces of content for that one session, you can use that for that week, for the week after, you can spread it out for 2 weeks. And then the last thing I would say is writing. So this is the most important part. You have to write and you have to plan out what you're going to say and would it actually work on the spot. And part of that is thinking for months, for weeks, whatever it is, what your hook will be. So my hook right now is we shot for this brand and this is how we did it. And I'm slightly changing it to, I'm a 21-year-old founder and we create for brands that move, so that I can get associated to the brands that move and people will see that as my brand, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. I like how you framed that. I don't think anyone's framed it that way before. Is there a big difference when you're trying to build a brand for a business?
There is, only because you gotta find a way to split that attention up. And the other thing would be, you gotta find a way where you wanna be the authority, but you also wanna show a bit of vulnerability. That's the hardest bit, and I feel like I still haven't cracked that. There's people who's shown that, definitely, but some parts of me still feel a bit scared to show that vulnerability in terms of, damn, like how do I tell this client that I didn't press record for like the whole shoot?
Wow.
Yeah.
In terms of that, like businesses often, like as a business owner myself, you get so overwhelmed by all the trends and everyone telling you should be posting every day, all of those things. As a creative agency owner,
Yeah.
what is your advice for businesses? And do you think they should be posting every day? And yeah, what are your thoughts on everything like that?
So there's three phases. The first phase would be just going from zero, if that's your starting point, just going from 0 to 3 or 0 to 5, and that's it. And then if that works, whatever works there, at least 1 or 2 pieces of content. The second phase would be just doubling down on it. And then the third phase would be really just going for it, which means like you're doubling down on all things that work within your content. So that's why like whenever I work with businesses, we do like a 3 month kind of start like in the contract, just so we can find a way where we can work out what type of system works for you. That's like your boutique system. And it's all because of that system. Yeah.
If content is something that scares you as a business owner, is it ever too late to hire an agency like yours?
I don't think it's ever too late to hire an agency, only because these business owners say, "Oh, we've tried this, we've tried that, whatever it is." But like you said, there's always learnings and there's always things that people are not educated about. And part of what we do is educating that through examples of the case studies that we've done, or me myself as a personal brand. And now I want to showcase how you can build that personal brand by actually building my Data Studios brand. So I just had a chat with the team yesterday, and we planned out like what our content system is going to be and how I delegate that. And it's basically like I'm hiring myself.
Can you give me any case studies of businesses that you've done recently?
Yeah. So in terms of content for like gyms and stuff, there's one gym that I've done work for over a year and a half now. They basically, before, they used to rely on ads. So there's always ads going out, always money coming out of that. But ever since we switched it in organic content, in a way where it's not too authentic and not too flimsy, but it's a bit more cinematic, we basically gave them probably like 20 leads a week just based off organic leads. And they're like, this is coming from their words, their member base literally went from like 150 to like 250 in like 6 months.
Organic?
Yeah. Organic basically means like you're not putting money behind it to push it out more. So that's what we focus on. Only because I do believe in ads, but whenever you see like brands that doesn't have any content to back on their Instagram, you instantly wouldn't go there. If you go to a cafe and you search up, oh, we should go to this cafe, but they have nothing on their Instagram, but all I see is their ads, I wouldn't even buy at that cafe.
It's a red flag.
Yeah, it's a red flag. Only because what are they hiding to the point where like they can't even showcase it there on a long basis, but they can only show it to you in 5 seconds.
Yeah. In terms of brand building and what you guys do at your studio,
Yeah.
what are your plans long term? Is there an amount of clients that you want? What are the goals for the business?
Short-term basis, I basically want to, do we mention like numbers and stuff or no? Well, not necessarily like revenue, but
Numbers of clients.
yeah, okay, cool. So basically, well, at this live like filming, I'm on a 30-day sprint to get 5 clients on a monthly recurring basis. So currently we have 3, and we've done a lot of one-offs, but I kind of want to build at least like 10 clienteles that's like monthly recurring. So basically I closed one just yesterday. So right now we're 2 out of 5, hopefully closing another one today or tomorrow, whatever. But basically for next year, I want to dominate the fitness industry in a way where we're creating content for these gyms that you've never seen before. So it's basically making small businesses stand out through content. That's my main goal. And in another aspect of it, I want to work with global brands like Adidas, Nike. That's the long-term basis. So we want to become a production agency where we create these cool commercials that people references, that people take screenshots of, see in Pinterest, on YouTube, whatever, to the point where like people will break it down on how we actually did it.
I think what's fascinating about you is you're so obsessed with the art that I know that if it doesn't align with you, you won't do it, which is a really good place to be. There are a lot of creatives out there, photographers, videographers, Facebook marketers, everything. They do the one-off jobs just to get by. What does your ideal client look like when they're on retainer base monthly?
Yeah. My ideal client would be, think of it as Adidas, let's just say, where there's campaigns that they're putting out every single month. And it's actually insane how fast they run things. Where we build this campaign from zero to a full campaign where we do all the rollouts. So a big hero video to different social cut downs that we can push out in every different platforms that we can see. And honestly, like one for me, one of my main goals is to see Adatu Studios work on a billboard. And I heard this podcast where it's like, oh, just be delusional with your dreams. And one of my dreams for next year in 2026 is at least have something that I can see out there in public. In a billboard.
Yeah.
Public wise is I'm gonna achieve that dream next week.
Nice.
So basically I shot a campaign with Hoka and I'm gonna see it live on and like all the athletes' foot stores, all across Sydney and Melbourne, which is I'm very excited about.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's interesting because your business is service based.
Yep.
You're offering a service, and for you, I guess securing those monthly clients is really important because you know what you're working with and things like that. When trends change, does it freak you out at all, or are you always on your phone just seeing what's working, what's not? How do you not get overwhelmed by what's out there?
When you mean by trends, like content trends?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah, content trends.
I think I use them, I leverage them, but not in a way where it goes off brand. So I think one of the things that we do in Datu is we look at someone's brand or someone's trend or how they work things out, and we keep their DNA by adding a little bit of our flair and our
Yeah,
style
nice.
to it. So I wouldn't say I get scared by it. I would actually be happy that there's some sort of change, only because with monthly retainers and these content ideas and stuff, you might run out of
Yeah.
content. And if someone else has thought of a trend or something else like that, you can just use that. It makes it life easier for you. And so I wouldn't say all these changes that are happening is scary. It's actually a weapon and a powerful tool that you can use. Yeah.
What has been your best day in business so far?
It's a good question.
There's your hook right there.
That is a really good question. Yeah, wow.
Loaded question.
That is very loaded. I think I would. Okay, so can I give two different sides?
For it.
So one of the days that I really love was I charged like $5,000 for an hour shoot for like a 15-second video, which is crazy to me. Still crazy to me, you know? And then the other side of it was when I basically told my parents that, oh, I can't make church on Sunday. And they're like, why? I'm like, oh, because I'm shooting for Adidas. And they're like, just speechless. And I just knew that there was a proud moment for them there. And I was proud as well. And ever since that conversation, they kind of saw me and what I'm doing as something valuable. And I would say that's one of the best days.
No, that's awesome, especially Philos.
Exactly.
Adidas, they know what it is.
Definitely, yeah.
Can you give me your worst day in business?
Oh, God. Oh. I can give you the worst era of my business.
Done.
Actually, no, I can give you the worst day of business. I actually spoke about this. I was filming, yeah. So there's this brand that I did content with. Every time I think about that brand, it just like makes me furious because they never saw my worth. I put a lot of hours. I put a lot of work in terms of how I built their brand, their identity. I made so much videos for them and everything, and I still wasn't getting paid for some reason. And I kept asking and asking, hey, like, I'm chasing you guys for this and all that. Is there a problem? Whatever it is. And the owner wouldn't speak to me, and the marketing person wouldn't speak to me, and they got the COO to speak to me, which I've never spoken to before. And basically, he was like, "Hey, mate, let's get on a 5-minute phone call." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I was on my way to a shoot. That phone call stretched out to 30 minutes. I barely spoke, like literally, like I only spoke for 2 words, and the whole crux of that phone call was him telling me, you need us. You have to earn it. Oh, we just feel like you're putting too much for the other brands out there. I just feel like you don't love us anymore.
That's weird, man.
And he was like, like we might be working with like Nike and all these other brands, bro. Like, come on, what happened? And at that point, honestly, like I did not move. I went to my friend's house, which I was planning on going to after the shoot, and I honestly, like, I was in shock. Like someone told me that, and basically, from that point on, like I just didn't have them as a client. But the irony behind that is, it was actually the best decision ever. Because when I heard that, I was relying on them as a client, as a main client. I had nothing much going on with the business, but from that conversation on, I feel like I have the tendency to always make someone like disbelief on what they think of me. And so I worked hard. I reached out. I completely 180'd what I did. And from that moment on, I basically worked with their direct competitor, and I ended up working, like doing the Hoka campaign, doing some campaigns like with Barry's Australia,
You showed him.
and all these like global brands, and I just showed them, bro. And I don't know if that's petty, but
No, I don't think so at all.
I just wanted to prove to them that I don't need you.
That would have felt good. That would
It
have felt
did.
good.
Yeah.
That would have felt good, and good piece of fire to go back to whenever you need to. You are young, 21 years old. What is the best piece of business advice that you have gotten? Because when you are young in business, I know firsthand, everyone's quick to give advice. But you have to be careful where you get the advice from, because if that person doesn't live the life you want to live, don't take the advice. Have you gotten a piece of advice that really stuck with you?
Yes, it's actually from Buzz.
Yeah. Okay. Have you met Buzz?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go. Shout out,
Um,
Buzz.
Shout out, Buzz. Well, he gave me a lot of advices, but one that struck to me was your environment and your location matters, because people will perceive you in which environment you're coming from. If you're doing some sort of service or some sort of product and you're selling it, but you're doing it in 2 different areas and environments, you can charge it so differently. If you go to Rudy Hill, let's just say, and someone asks for a video, you might charge them like $100, and that's like probably still a lot for them. But if you go to Bondi, if you go to Surrey Hills, whatever it is, you can charge the exact same thing 10 or 20 times more. And from a business perspective, that's like one of the best things that I've ever gotten.
What piece of advice would you give to someone thinking about starting a business?
Well, go for it. And the younger you are, the better it would be. And I would say this is a weird one, but it actually made my business boom this year, is have a coffee with someone. Because that coffee can exponentially turn into so many different options, so many different opportunities. And I actually paid almost $2,500 worth of coaching from someone, where the main thing I took away was have coffee.
With someone. No, that's a really good one. In terms of content, I really admire your personal brand and how your personal brand and your business brand have two different images, but you know it's the same person, you know it's you. In terms of your personal brand, what made you sort of go over the hump of not caring what people think when you talk to the camera, when you share your life? Because I know a lot of people that hurdles the hardest thing, like, oh, what's my cousin gonna think, or what's my mum gonna think? How did you get past that barrier? What advice do you have to those that are stuck in that little spot?
Definitely. It's always hard though when you're starting to make content and you might think that someone else might think of you differently. I think an advice that I would give would be you're living your own life, and whoever's there with you to celebrate your success are the real ones, and whoever's there to make fun of you whilst you're grinding, they're not the right fit for you. And I would say that your personal brand is the biggest asset that you can ever have. And once you build that, people would trust you, people would follow you, everything else, it would magnetize. And everything, you will attract it. And that's basically like my main ethos for it. And if I would also give a piece of advice in terms of filming, and let's say you're filming in public, just think of yourself as a tourist in a country where no one knows who you are. Because filming in public, that's also something that I'm trying to do at the moment, but no one really cares. And at the end of the day, if you make content and your friend or your neighbor, like across the road, sees it, they're not gonna care about it at all. Like, you're the only one who actually thinks about it.
It's in your own head.
It's in your own head. Like, if you know you're gonna get the return out of it, you're gonna get the brand deals out of it, you're gonna get the money out of it, who cares?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to thank Dihann for coming on the pod. It's been really valuable to me how to sort of get over that hump of building the personal brand, the importance of it. If you are a fitness-based industry or any type of health and wellness industry, I'll leave all of his details down in the description below. I think everyone can agree with me. There's a lot of value in this episode, just in terms of storytelling, starting a business, just getting it done, and the importance of personal brand and linking it to your business. So, brother, lovely to meet you today.
Thank you so much.
I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast.
Happy to be here, bro. Thank you.
Beautiful, bro.
Thank
That
you.
was mad.
You should do your own episode. I should ask you.